What's going on, guys? It's Tak. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you how to get the most important things done by learning how to prioritize effectively. Look, no matter what you're trying to do in life, whether that be trying to get good grades in school, trying to further your career, or manage your social life, you're going to have to learn how to prioritize effectively in order to get the most important things done. So let's get right into the video. Look, the problem with most people is that they want to do things. They want to do a lot of things. They want to go to the gym, they want to get good grades, they want to study, they want to read books, they want to hang out with their friends, they want to work on their side hustles, they want to have cool hobbies, and everything in between. But they're not really clear on which one comes first and which one comes last, so they do all of them, but they never really get the results they want with any of them. That's kind of unfortunate, right? Because they are putting in effort, believe me, they are working hard, but their blood, sweat, and tears don't really end up meaning anything because they don't get anything done because they don't know how to prioritize effectively. So I'm taking a stand and I'm saying, you know what, people? Let's start putting our efforts in proper places by learning how to prioritize effectively, and that's exactly why I created this video. So stay tuned to the end in order to find out how. By the way, if you want more concepts that can change your life so you can start living a more happy, successful, and intelligent life delivered by a dope Japanese dude, then go hit the subscribe button below. So here are the 3 tips on how you can prioritize properly. Number 1, you can't BS behavior. Look, if you say you prioritize healthy eating, but you go to McDonald's every other day, then your priorities are based on how you behave and not what you say. If you say you prioritize studying, but you go to the gym instead, then your priority is based on how you behave and not what you say. If you say you prioritize family, but you stay at home and play video games and go to sleep, then your priority is how you behave and not what you say. Do you notice a pattern here? Look, it has nothing to do with what you say, but has everything to do with how you behave. And by the way, this is an amazing opportunity for you because if you ever are confused about your own priorities, all you do is ask yourself, how do I behave? What do I do? And you will really quickly find out what your priorities are. And if you ever want to change your priorities, all you do is change your behaviors and boom, just like that, your priorities are now changed. So you can BS your words, but you can't BS your behavior. Tip number 2, be brutally honest. Look, there are some things in life that you may notice that you don't prioritize as much, and if you take a look at your behaviors like we did in our first tip, you may come to some startling realizations. So the only logical next step is to be brutally honest. Look, cultural societal norms tell you that you should prioritize others, family, friends, career, enjoying life, and whatever. And that's fine, but if you don't prioritize some of those things, don't feel pressured to change just to fit to some sort of norm. The only person that you cannot lie to is yourself. If you're like me, sometimes you prioritize your life dreams over hanging out with your friends, and that's fine. Don't change yourself just to please someone or fit some sort of norm. If you prioritize your health over getting shit-faced every weekend, that's fine. Don't pressure yourself to change to some norm. If you prioritize playing video games and watching TV over studying, that's fine, as long as you know what your values are, that's fine. Don't change yourself to please someone or change into some sort of norm. But this goes without saying, but always question why you prioritize certain things over others, and don't be afraid to change your priorities at any time. It's really easy to question your bad priorities and then go get rid of them and change them, but it's actually just as important to question your good priorities as well. For example, if you really prioritize being around your friends and hanging out with them, it might sound like a good thing at first. You know, it's cool because your friends are cool, you're cool, and you do cool things, and you have a good time. That's fine. But if you really start questioning and using this tip of being brutally honest, you might actually come to a realization that you are prioritizing hanging out with your friends too much because you were afraid of being alone. So with that being said, now that you're brutally honest and you uncovered the truth, now you can start rearranging your life and your values in order to make yourself more emotionally healthy. So just be honest with yourself. Don't pressure yourself to change and fit to some norm, but also always question your priorities and be brutally honest. Number 3, always have an order of importance. If you ask most people about their priorities, they're gonna say they prioritize this, and that. No. A priority, by definition, is a fact or condition of being regarded or treated as more important. So you must treat certain things more important than others, okay? So before we make a list, and I'll share mine as well, there's one thing that you must understand, and this is the concept of non-negotiables. These are a few things that you can never ignore and must always be at the top of your priorities and never change. I'm gonna share some of the most common non-negotiables, and the reason why I picked these three are because these three are what lead to long-term fulfillment and happiness, and if you don't have any of these three or you have a void of any one of these three, then basically you can kiss fulfillment goodbye because these are basically integral and are synonymous with fulfillment and happiness. So one of the non-negotiables include health. Look, if your health, both physically and mentally, is off, then everything else will crumble with it. So health must be a non-negotiable at all times. By the way, if you're watching this, you're probably in your 20s and you might not prioritize health that much because you think that you're gonna be this way forever. But one thing that you must understand is that right now, if you're in your 20s or you're just a young adult, your metabolism is high as it will ever be. Your immune system will be as high as it'll ever be at any point. Your energy levels, your organ functions will be at the highest it will be at any point, just because I think around age 21 for men and around 18 for women, that's when your body fully develops and matures. So your body is just getting used to being in the best condition ever. But the older and older you get, the worse and worse your health gets. So if you don't take care of your health now, then it's going to become a huge problem later on. Actually, one reason why I'm super passionate about health, even at this young of an age, is because a couple of years ago, I read this one quote that really freaked me the hell out. I think I was around 17 or whatever when I read this, but anyway, I want to share with you right now. It goes like this: if you don't take care of your health in your 20s, every year after 30 gets progressively worse. And when I read that at age 17 or whatever, I was like, fuck, I need to step the hell up. Obviously, I was super healthy at that point, but I just need to step the hell up. And it makes complete sense. Like I said before, everything is in your peak physical condition in your 20s, but when you're 30, 40, 50, everything just starts slipping away faster, and if you don't fix your bad habits now when it comes to health, then 30s is gonna be when it comes to health. No need to scare you, but I'm just saying that's the truth. Non-negotiable number 2, connection. Look, without connection to other humans in their lives, everything that we do has no meaning. And this is very unfortunate because things like technology and social media makes it so easy for us to live in isolation that we actually have very little, if any, real connections in our lives. And by the way, things like safety, medical breakthroughs, technological advances, food quality, water quality has never been higher at any point in the history of our species. But for some reason, our generation is the most depressed in the entire history of human history. And that's mainly due to a lack of connection. So that's a whole nother video in itself, but please don't ignore this one. Just a stat to show you how bad this whole connection thing has become is in 1995, the average amount of the people that a person can turn to in times of a crisis, which is what true emotional connection is, was 3 people. In 2006, the answer was around 0. And now we're 2019, so that's 13 years after this study has done, and technological advances have come so far that we are basically all just walking like isolated figures. So that number is definitely 0 unless you make an effort to focus on it. And if you don't make an effort to focus on it, it just makes things so much worse because you feel like you're alone all the time. So please focus on connection if you haven't already. Non-negotiable number 3, growth. The reason why a lot of people feel aimless in their lives is because they stop growing. I don't mean just physically, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually, with other people. And if you watch this far, it's likely because you enjoy growing as a person, or maybe just come here because you love me. And that's amazing. Oh, by the way, thank you. I keep doing this because growth will act as a protection from misery that comes with staying idle as a person. So for me, let me share my priorities real quick. My priorities go as follows. Number 1, the non-negotiables, health, connection, and growth. And then number 1, learning. Learning will forever and always be my number 1. And do you know how I came to the conclusion that learning is my number 1? I used tip number 1 and checked my behaviors. So to give an illustration, I'm constantly educating myself. I'm always reading books at home, listening to audiobooks on the way to walk, on the walks to school or work, listening to podcasts during my leisure time. Even when I'm playing games like 2K, I still have podcasts in. It's kind of weird, but I do that, so don't judge me. Actually, judge me if you want, I don't really care. Watching business or personal development YouTube videos at home, during my meals, during my free time, whatever. And so based on my behaviors, it's fair to say that it's number one. And constantly putting priority number one as learning does two big things for me. One, keeps me growing, which is one of my non-negotiables, but also keeps me humble. Look, I love the quote, the more you know, the more you realize that you don't know. And you realize that after you learn something, there's so much more you can learn. So it's become super fun and it seems like kind of a game just to see how much you can learn. And it also keeps you humble as well, because as soon as I think, oh, I'm so smart, I know everything, nope, then I realize that I actually haven't been learning as much, so I need to get back on the learning game. So priority number one, learning. Number two, YouTube career. Goes without saying, I'm putting a lot of effort in right now in order to blow this thing up. By the way, this is a long-term approach, so I don't expect 1 million subscribers by like 1 year or whatever. So this is a very long-term approach, but I'm prioritizing it a lot, and I will continue to prioritize it as long as I keep having fun and enjoy making videos just for you. Number three, learning copywriting and sales. It's very hard for me to pick between number 2 and 3, but I just basically prioritize YouTube over sales just because I spend more time on YouTube. At the moment, it could change at any time, but right now, number 2, number 3, there you go. Number 4, working career. At the moment, I'm not in any sort of co-op position, so right now it's not as relevant, but as soon as I get back into a full-time job, it will be right here. And number 5, social life. I gotta have fun too. I'm curious to know what your non-negotiables and priorities look like. Let me know in the comments because I'm actually super curious to find out. By the way, please understand the concept of non-negotiables because these are so important to fulfillment that you must understand this. So in summary, how to prioritize your actions so you can get results on what matters the most goes like this. Number 1, it's about what you do, not what you say. And the easiest way to check your priorities is to say screw what you say, let me check what I'm doing. Number 2, be brutally honest and don't pressure yourself to change your priorities based on what other people think or what they want. And by the way, always question your priorities, and always don't be afraid to change them at any point in life. And 3, have an order of importance. Rank them and don't have any at the same place because when push comes to shove, you need to know which one's more important. And always have a list of non-negotiables. This includes health, connection, and growth, and just do this just for your own sanity. So if you like this video on how to become more productive by realizing your priorities, you might actually like my other YouTube video on the ultimate way to become motivated by using your idols as inspiration. Look, it's one thing to try to motivate yourself and hype yourself up, and that's cool, it's effective, but it's a whole nother ballgame when you use someone who's already successful and someone you already admire as motivation, so you can start using that as motivation, understand your priorities, and just skyrocket your success in life. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, keep being awesome, and I will see you in the next video. Peace. Hey, before you go, I want to personally tell you why subscribing to my YouTube channel could be a fantastic use of your time. Basically, what I do is I share knowledge that I've gained from the most successful people in the world, whether that be through reading books, watching YouTube videos, or listening to podcasts, and also I share my opinions that I have developed as a result from them. So I put all that together, put it in one place for you so you don't have to go search everywhere and maybe miss out on some concepts that could change your life. Plus, you will probably be entertained because I am a halfway funny guy, and if you're like me, you enjoy being around funny people. So, if you like what you hear, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and enjoy your time here.